Good morning, guys. I'm here to do another get ready with me type of video, except this time I thought that I would incorporate kind of a bookish chat or bookish discussion. That way, if you're not into watching people put on makeup, you can still listen. I know I do that a lot sometimes. I'm driving in the car listening to a video, or I'm getting ready myself while watching a video, so I can't always watch, but I can listen. And so I had so much fun doing the makeup book tag that I figured I would kind of keep that going, and instead of doing like a tag video, I can just talk about something book related. I just woke up like 20 minutes ago, put on some clothes, brushed my hair so that I didn't look like a bird's nest, and I'm just gonna sit and talk about books while I get ready for the day like I normally would. So today's video is going to be about reading habits and how mine have changed, because I've noticed that I've been doing booktube for like 3 years now, and it's a little bit different now for me. I wrote down like kind of like a little list because I was thinking about this video and like what I would talk about and the kind of habits that I would talk about. And the one that I think is the most obvious, I guess, to people that watch my channel is that I'm no longer doing TBRs, which for me is very different. I'm definitely a planner, someone that likes to set goals, make lists, cross them out. And in the past, it really worked for me to have kind of like a list to read. It kept me on track with my reading goals for the year. It also kept me on track when it came to buying books, because if I felt like if I wasn't reading enough books off my shelves, that I shouldn't be out buying a lot. So that really worked for me for a while. I'm not gonna say that it didn't, but recently I've kind of stopped thinking about it that much. My bookish goals for the year this year were very relaxed and not something that I really care to stick to, honestly. I don't think I even increased my number in my Goodreads goals. I've definitely taken a new approach to reading. I'm more like a mood reader now, and I pick up what interests me, and what doesn't interest me I'll just not read. And I don't really feel guilty about it or anything like that, because to me, reading should be fun. It should not come with any pressures, and making lists for other people might be putting pressure on yourself. For me, it's more like a functional thing, and it really helps me kind of feel like on track with completing my goals, which always helps me. I mean, it makes me feel good, it makes me feel productive. I don't know, it's always worked for me. I've always been that type of person. But recently I've been doing like library hauls, or just picking a bunch of books from my shelves, like I did this past month, where I did a August and September MBR instead of a TBR, a might be read, and that has been working great. Another reading habit that ties into that is being able to DNF books a lot easier and unhaul books a lot easier. I've never really been somebody that felt like I had to finish a book that I started. That's never really been something. I know there's people that are like that they feel like they really have to finish every single book that they start. But for me, I've never really felt that, I don't know, obligation. I don't know how you would call it, but it's never been something that I really care about that much. But recently, because I've been hauling a bunch of books from the library, I know realistically I'm not going to finish all of them. I know that, I'm not going to have time for all of them. But because I'm just telling myself that I'm going to just pick whatever fits my mood at the time, I don't really feel bad about returning a book to the library. I think it's because they're from the library and not, books that I'm actively purchasing, because I think it's a lot different when you purchase a book and you spend your hard-earned money on a book. You kind of feel like you should get your money's worth, or there's some sort of, at least for me, if I'm spending money on something, I need to get something out of it. And books is like that for me. When I spend $15, $20 on a book, I want to enjoy it. I already have that expectation when I open the book. I already have that that's why I do a lot of reviews. Not do a lot of reviews. I read a lot of reviews before I purchase books for that reason, because nothing disappoints me more than spending $20 on a hardback or even a paperback sometimes and hating the book, 50 pages in. But with a library book, I don't really have that expectation. I don't have that dissatisfaction if I don't read it. So those two things are probably the major changes for me, is you know, I'm able to DNF a book with no problem. I've DNF'd maybe like 7 books in the past month and a half. And they've just gone right back to the library. And I don't want to say that it's just because of the library though, because I've also been a lot better at unhauling a book that doesn't work for me. I have unhauled maybe 20 books off my shelves. These are books that I thought about doing a video on my recent DNFs / recent unhauls, but I wonder if anybody would be interested in that. I might do it because I've kind of like set them aside. I haven't given them all to Goodwill yet, but that's something that I've noticed myself doing is I've been unhauling books and not really, you know, feeling like I have to read them. And again, I think the unhauling of the books is it's helped by the fact that I bought them used, and so I didn't spend a lot of money on them, so they could just go right back to Goodwill where I got them, or right back to the used bookstore where I got them, and I don't really feel bad about it, and I don't feel as frustrated if I'm picking up a book that I spent $1.99 on and it wasn't what I expected. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just something that I've noticed. These are like things that I've been noticing the past couple of months. It's just how different I approach books now, whether it's a book that I check out of the library or a book that I buy. I've just noticed that, you know, 2-3 years ago, I would have never done that. And then the last reading habit that I wrote down that has changed for me is I made reading much more of a priority. I've always tried to make time for reading because I know realistically with my schedule, you know, I've done school full-time and worked full-time before, and now I just work full-time, but still sometimes I don't have that much time to read between the commute to work and, you know, just having to do things around my house and things like that. I've always known that I have to make time for reading. However, what has changed for me is that now when it comes to reading, and, you know, setting aside time for reading, I kind of get myself in the mood to read. So what I'll do is I'll light a candle, I'll make a snack or a really hot drink or a cold drink depending on how hot it is, and I will specifically look forward to that special time where I'm just gonna read. You know, I have like a little corner in the couch that I've had like fluffed up with pillows and blankets, and I think that's really helped a lot. I mean, some people, of course, you can just, you know, pick whatever time that you can read, just sit down and read. Of course, you can do that. But for me, when I'm at home and I have things to do later on in the day, it kind of helps me to say, well, Sarai, just get ready a little bit earlier. Take this time right before you leave to read, and, you know, read with no pressure. I don't sit down and I'm like, I have to read 100 pages or anything like that. I definitely help myself out by getting myself in the mindset of, I'm going to sit down and have a good reading session. Does anybody else do something like that? I know that there are some booktubers that will read in the bath, or will have like, you know, special rooms in the house where they read, or people that are lucky enough to read during their commute. I wish I could do that because that would be so nice, because just in my commute, I commute maybe 40 minutes every day that I go to work, and I would love to dedicate those 40 minutes to just reading my books. So, you know, that would be awesome if I could, you know, have that opportunity, but I don't. So I have to make time after work and before work. So those are just the reading habits that I've noticed have been changing for me. I've noticed other ones too, but they're not as clear cut or as obvious as those. And I just think it's interesting how the older I get, my reading habits just continue to change. You know, obviously I don't read the same as I read as a child or as a teenager or even a young adult. My reading preferences have changed. All of that has changed, and I always keep thinking, oh, okay, well, this is just who I'm going to be as a reader for the next, you know, however many years. But I keep surprising myself because my reading habits just keep changing, and it's not because of any outside influence. It's not like I've been watching someone do these things and I feel like I have to do them. I'm just kind of trying to be flexible with my hobbies and take a lot of the pressure off, because at the end of the day, reading for me is a hobby. It's not something, it's not a job, it's not a chore. reading is supposed to be fun. You know, reading is supposed to be my escape from, you know, what I feel are like daily obligations and adulting. Like, it's supposed to be something that I can do, you know, as a stress reliever, that I can do as something to really keep me occupied, and it's just fun and engaging, and it should be like that. And I'm trying to do everything that I can to approach my hobbies in that same way, you know. If I'm not having fun, if I'm not looking forward to my hobby, then why would I keep doing it, you know? That's just the mindset that I'm in right now. So I'd be really curious to hear about anybody else that is watching this. You know, how have your reading habits changed? Are you just someone that's always been one type of reader? And what do you wish you could change about your reading habits? As a reader, I have a lot of pet peeves and things like that that I wish I could kind of get rid of so that I could enjoy books, certain books more, but you know, that's just not me. And there's nothing I could really do about that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know down in the comments if you've noticed yourself changing as a reader and how. So yeah, I'd be really curious to know how your reading habits have changed. Like I said, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. I love these types of videos. I love watching these types of videos and book discussion videos in general. I think it's great to hear from commenters and, you know, my booktube friends, because I do consider you guys friends. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I definitely look forward to doing more of these in the future. So I'll see you guys in my next video.